Mike, I didn't unmute my mic like an idiot. Hello, everyone. Well, I unmuted you, Coyote. I unmuted you. That's the important part. That's what everyone's really here for. They're really here to watch you, not watch me. Let's be honest. The Palaver is all about the guest. It's all about the guest. It's not about...
Well, I have a chin strap going on with my facial hair right now, but it's still not quite as epic as that delightful goatee you've got going on.
Actually, I need to trim it. It's getting a little long. All right, look. So I'm going to address a couple things real quick. First of all, people are like, what? No Palaver on Monday? Because I didn't do a Palaver on Monday, and I said, oh no Palaver on Monday. And that was because we were working on setting this up. As you guys know, I love Jade. He is a friend I met on Twitch and then became a real life friend. How can you ever want anything more out of life than that? You can't. You can't.
Friendship is what it's all about, brother.
I know. So I was so happy when you were telling me about your presentation you're doing. And I said, dude, I'm going to go an hour late just so I can have all these people and host into you with all these people. That made me that happy that I was there able to do that. I feel like we got some new people like Mr. Green and Red Rum and that Mo guy got in there and got to meet you for the first time. And I know a lot of these people are new and starting streamers, and hopefully that really helped them out, a lot of the things that were said. I'm going to jump right into it, man. There were a couple things that you said that I wanted to touch on. Not that I necessarily disagreed with, but I think that could deal with a little more sort of dissecting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go ahead.
We're going to start with the first thing that I had a problem with. Really, the only thing that I had a problem with. My number one rule, whenever anyone asks me for advice, I always say number one rule. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. That is Rev's rule number one. You buried that way down at the end of important things. Do you really think
Very true.
Do you really think that that's the least important thing for people to be doing?
No, actually, that's at the end, because in conclusion, the things that were above it should accumulate to having fun. That's the intended objective, instead of being the least important. It's not a last but not least honorable mention sort of deal. Like, these things, if you do these things, these points, then you will have fun, and make sure that you do. And that was why that I ended the last point on that was reevaluate. If things are starting to stagnate, it's time to reevaluate your reasons for streaming. Because what you're doing, the other points should lead to you being able to have a good time and engaging people and helping them have a good time as well.
That makes a lot more sense. Because I'm watching you and I'm like, wow, he's saying it's more important to do this and that than have fun.
It was way down there. Yeah, it was at the bottom of the list.
What? I don't know. All right, well, that makes a lot more sense. I want to go into that a little bit too, because let's be honest. Out of everyone we know, right, all of our friends, all of our people in the Prepare for the Mediocre, Proper Nerds community, and even the vast majority of Team MZ, which is thousands and thousands of streamers.
Oh yeah.
I am in a very, very small minority. And that is people who do not have another job. This is it. This is my job.
Yep.
Most people have another job. You said,
and even for you, for the last almost up until what, this past month or last month, you had a side job as well, substitute teaching, as I understand.
Well, I still technically do. I still substitute teach, and I still have days coming up that I will have to take off because I've told them that I would be there that day, and I'm not going to bail out on them. But I've also told them, consider me your last choice for if you need a sub, because my job is streaming now.
Right. No, and you've aggressively been pushing for that end, and you've been successfully enjoying the benefits of it too. I think it's definitely shown not only in the turnouts for your streams, but it's also shown in the character and charisma that you're able to put out on your streams as well.
Thank you, Coyote Pup. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. Yeah, no problem. I really have enjoyed it.
But the reason why I think it's so important to focus on the having fun aspect is because we should be looking at streaming as something we're doing for fun, unless it is your full-time job, which, even though it's my full-time job for me, I don't make enough money to live on doing it. If it weren't for the fact that I have a wonderful wife who has a very good income. You know, there's no way that you can do. Oh, look at the beautiful Shiki. She didn't make an appearance on your presentation, but we get to see her here. This is like Coyote's presentation after dark.
The red light district of Coyote's presentation.
Or like backstage, you know, behind the
Okay,
scenes.
all right. That was a little, yeah, a little less risque.
Oh,
I love her too. She's been filling up my water cup when she's been available to do so, and she wanted to make a hello.
Hey, look at that. Luca Brazzi is here. Hello, Bob. It's Bob.
Hey, Bob. What up, man?
But to continue the point that I was making, though, if you are working a full-time job, if you're going to university, if you have children that you have to take care of, all of those things should always take precedence in your life. And
right.
what you have to do is you have to try to figure out how to make streaming work for you and have it be a fun aspect of your life that fits in with all the other pieces. And I think that that's a really, really important part. I just recently, I'm not going to blow up anyone's spot, but I had a streamer who is doing fairly well as a new streamer. And this person said to me, I'm even avoiding pronouns, you'll notice. This person got on Discord with me. They said, I really need your advice. I'm freaking out. I just don't know what I'm doing. And I talked to this person for about an hour on Discord. And basically what it came down to is they were having trouble balancing their home life, their work life, and their stream schedule. And they said, I made a schedule and I'm trying so hard to stick to it. But I feel like I'm at the snapping point. I go, cut back. You know that you need to cut back. You know,
that was why when I said be consistent, set yourself a realistic schedule. The qualifying statement in that was realistic. I would much rather set a schedule for myself that I know that I can maintain, and then if at all possible, overachieve where available. If I'm spending all of this time trying to stream to get my stream off the ground, but every time that I do so, I'm so haggard that I can't perform and my performance is dwindling, then I'm definitely not providing my best. I'm not able to give them what they deserve. I mean, my viewership, my channel doesn't exist without the people there to view it. And so in the event that you've got, like I said, I acknowledged my friends who unfortunately work retail. Take the last quarter of any year, the holiday season gets really, really rough for a lot of retail workers. And for streaming, I mean, you're too exhausted to even try to play video games, much less try to stream. So, I mean, yeah, of course, there's absolutely that human element. And even with the expectations for regularity, certain aspects of regularity that we require for our hosts in Prepare for the Mediocre, there is always, it's always cornerstone on the fact that we recognize that you have a life. You are human, and there are things that just, by default, take precedence over streaming. All that I could ask for somebody is just like, hey, you know, if you feel that for whatever reason that this is becoming too much, let's talk about this. Just be open and honest with me. If it's like a temporary situation where you feel like, look, for the next couple of months, I'm not really going to be able to be active because, bam, this happened. Unfortunately, that's what's going on with Inky right now because of his job situation. The poor guy. Everybody loves Inky. Inky is amazing. Go ahead.
I'm going to cut you off there because you're my wife pointed out to me, sometimes you get so used to streaming that you forget that you're in a conversation, and she calls me out on it all the time now. So you're going off on 5 or 6 different points, and I just want to stop you for 1 second. And before I go any further, we talked about communities, and you and I now share all 3 of the same communities. Official Team MZ, Proper Nerds, and Prepare for the Mediocre. And I always say I'm also a member of a 4th community. And what I do is I flip-flop when I'm using Prepare for the Mediocre and the Daily Grind. And I just want to say hello to Night Marcher, who just showed up in chat. Night Marcher is the founder of the Daily Grind, much as I am the founder of Proper Nerds, and you're the founder of Prepare for the Mediocre. So just real quick,
Night Marcher.
What up to Night Marcher?
Hey, Night Marcher. Hello. Thank you for tuning in. Great to see you, my friend.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of stop you there because as Angie has said to me a lot lately, she goes, stop, you're streaming. Your streaming team.
No, that's completely fine. Plus, it's your Palaver too. I
Well,
didn't mean to.
no. It's just you. All of a sudden, you were going off on a thing about Inky, and I was like, "Whoa, let's just reel it back for 1 second. Let's, we only have an hour, so." And actually, I don't know if you watched the podcast, the Palaver I did with Shadow Fox. One of the negative feedbacks that I got from a lot of people is that I didn't reel her in enough, and that I let her really just spin out a lot. And I loved it. I could have just sat there and listened for an hour, but at the same time, I understand, talk show format. We do have to have a little back and forth.
No, that's completely fine. Not a problem.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm glad that we got that cleared up about the have fun being the first and foremost thing. I had 3 other real big points I wanted to go off. Just while they're still sort of fresh, while everyone has just come over from your presentation to talk about. This one I found really interesting. And, okay, so as you know, I've been playing, what I do with my streaming schedule, I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday main game, and then Tuesday, Thursday alternate games, right? And this month, my main game was Darkest Dungeon. And I've gotten a lot of great new friends through Darkest Dungeon. Both going out and networking and meeting other Darkest Dungeon streamers, or people coming and finding me through the wiki or whatever. And a lot of people said, well, why are you stopping? Why don't you just keep playing it? And you touched on something. You said Domina got you a lot of viewers.
It did.
But you have to stop playing it at some point. You have to say, okay, it's time to move on to a new game.
I'm not a Domina streamer. As much as I like Domina, that is not what I want to do as a streamer. I'm not a Domina streamer. I'm a variety streamer. And Domina, still, I'll dust it off every now and again. But that's not what I'm going to be doing as my primary game.
Yeah. Well, to that point, people have been saying, why are you stopping? Again, I don't want to use any names, but there's a member who just joined the Proper Nerds community very recently. Great guy. I met him through Darkest Dungeon, and I was on his stream the other day, and he said something very concerning to me. So he's got like 200 followers, and he has about 9 or 10 people in his chat, which is great. For a small streamer, 9 or 10 people in your chat, that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And he said, I'm a variety streamer. Well, I guess I'm just a Darkest Dungeon streamer now. And I said, why just Darkest Dungeon? Do you like the game that much? Which I could believe, because it's a great game. He goes, well,
Absolutely.
Every time I play anything else, I drop down to like 1 or 2 viewers. And he said, so I've been playing just Darkest Dungeon for the last 4 months. And this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Popular games becoming a trap for people who want to be variety streamers. There's a very difficult balance that I think if you think of yourself as a variety streamer, of just getting locked into a game for too long. And I wanted to get your feelings on that. I know that that's the reason I made the hard choice. No, at the end of the month, I am putting aside Darkest Dungeon as my main game, and I'm going to move on to another great game.
I don't have myself quite as structured with regards to where that limit is. Typically speaking, with games that I play, I'm playing through something where there's a logical progression through the streams. Through each of the streams where I can beat the game. And then once the game is beaten, once we've done everything that there is to do in the game, then we'll move on to the next one. That's fine. Open-ended games where you have like Overwatch, Domina, Darkest Dungeon even, or Enter the Gungeon. Those are games where you could keep playing it forever.
PUBG and Hearthstone, 2 big ones.
Yes, absolutely. And to that point, do I want to make my second job, or even my primary job, depending upon who you are, do I want that to be what I'm doing all the time? I could not. I don't think I could do it. I really couldn't. I don't want to spend all of my time only ever playing one game. There are plenty of other games that are great games out there that should be enjoyed. I have plenty of people who donate games, so I want to get viewership for that. But by the same token, I also want to be able to enjoy new games as well, like when they get released, or what happens when you're that Domina streamer, that Overwatch streamer, and suddenly, like when it comes to gaming, the trend's gone. Mm-hmm. The entire community falls out the floor. Well, what do you do then?
Yeah. I apologize. Night Marcher says it's all good. Coyote's audio. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, just to go a little inside, I always used to use Skype for my interviews. And then Windows 10 force updated Skype, and I can no longer use it in the same way. So I'm switching over to Discord video. But this is probably the second or third time I've ever used it in this format. So if you could just let me know, is Coyote's voice coming out much longer? Like, is his video ahead of his audio, or is the audio ahead of his video? Just let me know, and I'll try to adjust it on the fly. Yeah, I think to get back to that point, though, there's a real trap that you can fall in where you feel like, well, it feels, especially as a small streamer. So I'm primarily right now, I'm talking not to people like Night Marcher who have made, their Night Marcher is bigger than I am. So people who are still starting out, and they're still getting those days when they might only have 2 or 3 people in chat the whole day. Don't ever fall into the trap, if you want to play multiple games, of thinking, well, I really like people talking, so I'm going to just keep playing this for 2 or 3 months. I think that is a very dangerous trap that you can fall in.
I don't disagree. I mean, those games like that, though, they're easy to pick up on an off-schedule stream day, though. Think about it. I mean, it's not hard to do a run of Domina in one stream, or play, some comp placements in an afternoon. If you don't want to make that your game, but you still want to be able to reap some of the benefits of it being a strong community with a lot of people with a higher number of viewers, then go ahead and do that when you have an off-schedule stream, because it's just easy to fit that into whenever I do it sort of a deal, and the community is strong enough for you guys to get yourself that added that surge of viewership that you're looking for, without trapping you in always having to stream it.
All right. Yeah. And again, thank you. And hello, Docs. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, it's a constant problem with the audio. I apologize to everyone. I think that's another thing that a lot of small streamers just really need to get comfortable with. The other thing that I wanted to mention is right towards the end of your stream, one of the questions, and it sounds so easy to answer this way, but it's not. Someone said, how do you get good at talking when no one is talking in chat? Practice.
Yep, practice.
I know that sucks. I know it sucks to have such a flippant sounding answer, but that's the only thing there is. It's like if you see someone painting and they're amazing. If you see someone playing the violin and it's amazing. If you see someone doing anything. No Olympic athlete got there because they were just magically born with that skill. Anything in this world is just practice. How do I get good at talking constantly when no one's talking to myself? Just do it. And then do it more. You do it
and you get... Right. A lot of it, too, comes with when you become more experienced as a streamer and you get your feet under you. When you feel more comfortable in the seat, you have the opportunity to change up the mold a little bit, try different things, and practice it yourself. If you're streaming regularly anyway, you're already going to have that opportunity to practice anyhow. So instead of worrying as much, I guess, about how to do it, I would say what to do while you're doing it is probably the better question.
Another thing too that I did just think of as you were talking, another good way to do that is if you're new and starting out and you're worried about how much you're talking on stream, set aside an hour or 2, maybe 3. Go back and watch some of your VODs. That can be the video on demand feature on Twitch where it automatically saves your VODs. Go back and watch. You'll be amazed at what you see yourself doing, and you'll be able to self-correct without anyone telling you.
You've already got your own performance right there. It's a little difficult to do on the fly for certain, But by the same token, if you've got your recordings, in their archive, go back, take a look, watch half an hour of it, listen to it. And in the event that you pick up on anything, I mean, you have your own monitor right there. And a lot of times we're even our own worst critics. So you can already take notes from your previous performance right out the gate. And I've done that on more than a few occasions to kind of help guide myself. But by the same token, I've had people like you, who have talked to me about it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And on top of it, you said you're your own worst critic. That's why I just said to Chet, guys, how's the audio? Because I know no one's going to step up and say, hey, Coyote's audio is off. Or Coyote's audio is a little too loud and you're too quiet. That's why I just said, guys, tell me. I'm still working out some kinks of this new system. Don't be afraid. And another thing on that point, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Oh my God. You watch partnered streamers, they'll sit there and mumble mouth their way through sentences just the same as you. Like,
yep.
I'll watch, I'm not going to say any names, I'll watch a guy who's been streaming on Twitch for 5 years, and he'll still sit there and say, if I play this card, what? I'm like, okay, he does it too. He's been streaming for 7 years and he's doing it. Right.
Yeah, no, that's true. We're all going to make blunders. We're all going, sometimes too, you get the opportunity to make a blunder and it ends up being clippable. And then somebody's like, ha, that was funny. Remember that time? And then it becomes an inside joke. If you make a fool of yourself on stream, don't sweat it too much. The only thing that you should really be sweating is if you yourself do something that is just so off the wall that, Twitch might get upset about. That really is it. People are going to gravitate to you. They're going to watch you whether you're a fool or you're professional. You have all of your words in a row. I stumble on my words all the time. It's a little bit difficult. I try to work on my uhs and ums, but unfortunately there are times where I just and I'm having a conversation with a punctuation mark, I guess.
And you just said, well, that actually brings up the next point that I wanted to talk to you about. Someone asked you on your stream something about toxic viewers or trolls or something like that. And you said, don't worry about it. As long as you don't encourage it, it's fine. Just let them be. You don't want to be their parent. I have to disagree with you on that point. I think that as a streamer, you get mods that you trust in your channel. And if someone's being toxic, you say, hey, knock it off. And if they don't, you time them out. And if they come back and they keep doing it, you ban them. And now the reason why I think that's very important is it's probably not a big deal for smaller streamers. But as you grow and grow and grow, if Twitch perceives that you are encouraging the behavior by not stopping it and by not saying anything, that can flag your account. That can get your account potentially banned.
Yes, and that is actually why I said in the take ownership part of it, you have to take ownership for your viewership. Perhaps I didn't stress enough in that point, and if not, then that's fair. I do want to make it clear that you are now held to the accountability of your audience as well. You as a streamer, if what you are doing is perceived by Twitch as inciting your viewership to do things that either break the TOS or create a hostile environment, then yes, you are responsible for that. I don't know of any examples offhand where that has occurred, unfortunately, but I do know that...
Well, the reason why you don't have any examples right offhand is because the new Twitch community guidelines just went into effect this month. And one of the things is they've done a lot of little shoutcasts, little interviews talking about the new terms of service. And one of the things they kept saying is the guidelines are a lot more flexible, but at the same time, the reason is because they want people to behave. And while one person might get away with a person in their chat being a complete troll, and another might not, is because they're going to be looking at the entire picture. They're going to be looking at things like how the streamer was behaving when this troll was in there and people started reporting the stream. They're going to be taking a look at things like the title. What game is he playing? How is he acting? It becomes a much more harder to nail down point of what can get your account flagged than it used to be. There are not the hard and fast rules. They've gotten a lot vaguer, which also comes with some flexibility and a lot more leeway, but it also means that you also have to be a little more careful about trying to stay in the center and not get too far to the edges. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. To that point, I was a couple of weeks ago, actually, I got a 24-hour suspension on Twitch for self-harm for whatever reason. I guess somebody reported me. But the point being is that I was just having a casual conversation about, hey, for 1,000 bits, I'll chug a beer. And even though self-harm, according to the TOS, states that it's excessive drinking that causes, or that would be a violation, I was still suspended, and they maintained that suspension over the 24 hours because it could lead to self-harm. Now, in the event of talking about somebody who's being a troll in chat, I mean, it's just good form to address that anyway. If you're providing an environment that's supposed to be meaningful and welcoming to the general populace, and you got somebody in there stirring the pot, you really don't want to have, just let that go. You don't want to let that fly by. You want to make a clear statement that, hey, I'm here for my viewership and I got their back. You're not going to just let them, whatever it is that troll is engaging in that is unseemly behavior and unwelcome, you want to make that stance.
Well, I real quick want to address this troll, but Red Rum says, I don't care if trolls or toxic viewers bash me, but as soon as they start bashing my viewers, then it's over. Do you agree with that? No, you absolutely shouldn't. No, you should not let anyone sit there and bash you. End of story. Now, there's a big difference between someone going, lol, nice order, noob. There's that. And someone coming in and saying like, hey, grandpa, is that cum in your beard or are you just old? Which is things I've gotten. And I'll just look over and just give them a 10-minute timeout. I don't even respond. And they're either gone for good or they come back and be like, dude, I was just joking. And I'd be like, okay, well, it wasn't cool. It wasn't funny. I'm like, if you've been here for 10 minutes now on timeout, you've gotten a better feel for what this chat is like. And now you can see. You want to talk about me being old, that's fine, because I'm old, whatever, it's fine. But, yeah, saying, no, you don't let viewers come in and abuse you. Don't do it. And the reason...
There's a fine line.
Yeah, and the reason you don't do it is because it sets a bad precedent. All it takes is one viewer to be toxic, and everyone else thinks that is the nature of your chat. Whereas if you keep things positive and fun and happy and good-hearted and everyone's having a good time, then that's what the new people who come in will automatically do.
Absolutely. You surround yourself with the kind of people that that you're like. If you provide a warm, welcoming environment, that's exactly what you're going to attract. You're going to surround yourself with like-minded people. And if you tolerate somebody to come into your chat and cross that fine line between a gentle ribbing and obvious abuse, then you're already speaking of interesting.
I think it's a bot or something. That it's Kappa face. Wow, she got banned, and then a link, and then like the Craigasm.
I see that.
Yeah, it's a copy pasta, and the link. Someone said the link links to malware. So every time I see it, I just instantly. In fact, I'll just go ahead and ban that person.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so if you ever see, wow, she got banned, link, just ban. Don't even waste your time.
That's fair. But also by the same token, we were talking about demonstrating your value as a streamer. You put something out there as an entertainer too. If somebody's coming in and just shit-talking you the entire time, and thank you very much, Hazmat. But if you're out there and you're working hard, you're investing your time, effort, and energy, you're still a human being, as I've mentioned many times before. You don't deserve to be treated with abusive behavior or language just for the fact that you're on the other side of the internet. If somebody's being a troll or smack-talking you in a way that you don't appreciate, take a stand, because you are already working to provide something meaningful to your viewership. You're providing value, and if somebody's going to turn up their nose about it, well, they can see themselves out the door. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, and you can continue doing and focusing on what means most.
I'll just let James know I'm not wearing pants right now.
Oh.
Anytime I'm doing a podcast, I almost never have pants on. I don't know what it is about being on a podcast as opposed to doing my normal stream, I get very hot. I don't know why. I get very warm, and I have to go no pants when I do podcasts.
Anytime I'm streaming too, it's the same thing. I'm always sticky and sweaty, and I know it sounds really, really gross, and I don't know. I just deal with it, I guess. But when it comes down to like the summer months, oh, it gets so stuffy in this room.
Well, especially the way. Okay, so listen, chat. You don't know this, but you'll just listen to Papa Rev for a minute here. I know what I'm talking about. I've been to Coyotes, and they've got this really nice big bedroom with this massive king-size bed, and then they got all these dressers, and they got this TV and video game system, and they got all this cool stuff, and then way over against the one wall, like way against the one wall, they've got this gigantic command station, Coyote's command station, with all these monitors and computer, and then right next to that is Shiki's command station. I'm like, oh my God, this side of the room is 25 degrees hotter than that side of the room.
So true. That's no exaggeration. It gets so warm in here. What's nice though is that the two windows that we have, there's one that's on this wall here behind my monitors, and then there's one over closer to little Shiki. In the event that we have both those sets of windows open, we get a nice cross breeze which takes the edge off. But during the summer months, I gotta have a fan. I got a box fan that I put on the floor right next to me.
You have to. I mean,
I know it.
Yeah, it gets bad. I mean, during the summer months, I got a window air conditioner, and if that thing's not running all the time I'm streaming, this room it's unbearable. All right. So Twitch terms of service and violations. That was one of the points I definitely wanted to bring up to anyone watching. Don't be afraid to time people out. The timeout command is great. It's a slap on the wrist. You're not banning anyone. Don't worry about losing viewers. And more to the point, you don't want toxic viewers. I've done a lot of networking lately, and I've met a lot of people. And I'll just be honest. It's the guy that I was just talking about who said he's been doing Darkest Dungeon for 4 months, right? Every time I go into a stream, he's got this one guy in chat who's not like he's just toxic. You know what I mean? Like, I joined, and immediately the streamer was like, oh, and there's Dose Rev, the head of the Proper Nerds, and blah, 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 Proper Nerds. And immediately this guy starts going, proper nerds, that's a way of saying, like, fancy idiots or fancy dorks. Like, you guys are losers. And then he's like, I'm going to make a community on Twitch called the Misbehaving Morons or something. It'll be better than yours. It's like, and the streamer did nothing about that. And I was like, and I just ignored it because I'm just a guest in that chat. But I thought to myself, I'm like, this streamer is so desperate for viewers because he's a small streamer. He doesn't realize that kind of toxicity drives people away. And after about 2 or 3 minutes of it, I just left. And I don't want to sound egotistical here, but having me in your channel, if you're a small streamer, is a good thing for you. Because there are a lot of people who will look on their friends list and be like, oh, who is Dose Rev watching? And they'll come and see who I'm watching. So driving me out of your channel is not a good idea for a small streamer.
Right, and it's not that we're being vindictive by any stretch of the imagination. I get a bunch of people who will come and follow me as well, or who I'm hosting a lot of times. And we were just in a smaller streamers chat, some friends of ours who are across the pond. And you made the comment, but it is true, you know, you're doing something right. If you have us in your chat, that's a great opportunity to network, especially as community leadership. And I'm not trying to say that egotistically either, but you're talking people who have hundreds of followers, if not thousands in your case, you know, there's a lot of potential there. And again, you as a streamer, you got to demonstrate your value. You don't want to encourage or at least make the statement that that sort of behavior is acceptable. Because if somebody can smack talk the streamer, well, that same person is more than likely going to smack talk anyone else in chat. It becomes very quickly a hostile environment.
Yeah. And just go back to this one troll in this one chat. The last 3 times I visited this guy's chat, it's happened with this guy. The time before, it was because he said the streamer was talking about the song Cotton Eye Joe by Rednecks. You know that song, you know? And this troll was like, yeah, that's a song about STDs. It's about syphilis or something. I go, well, no, that's not true. That's an old Negro slave song that predates the Civil War. And the rednecks, when they made that version of the song, they took a lot of inspiration from it. It really has nothing to do with STDs. And he's like, lol, you know, the lol face, like 18 times. You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about, idiot. And that was it. Like, no discuss. Like, if he had said, no, there was an interview with rednecks where they said it's a hidden, like, there was no discussion, just trolly arguing. And I was like trying to have a conversation about it. He's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Go make up more lies. I'm like, yeah.
Wow, unnecessarily aggressive.
Yeah, and then the time before that, it was something I don't even remember. And I literally got to the point where I messaged this guy in Discord earlier today, and I said, listen, I'm not coming back to your channel anymore. I go, we need to have a talk about the way you handle your viewers and toxicity. I don't know, maybe that guy is like your best friend in real life, and if he is, you need to talk with him. Because if he's driving away me and I want to be in your channel, what's that doing to anyone else who comes in and is quietly watching for 5 minutes? They'll leave
right. They're going to look at it.
Never come back.
No, they're just going to see it, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, nope, I don't want this.
Yeah. So anyways, we did have a couple questions from chat. I don't know if Mr. Crafty Killer ever made it over from Discord. He was asking some questions in Discord, and I don't know if he's here, but Mr. Crafty Killer, I'm going to address it now and hope that Mr. Crafty Killer is watching. And I'll start with the question, and then I'll go into a point, and then I'm going to get your thoughts on it. Okay, Coyote? You addressed this on your presentation. Mr. Crafty Killer is thinking about changing his name. When he started streaming, he was playing Minecraft, so crafty, and also like PUBG and other type games. So he thought, oh, Mr. Crafty Killer, like I'm crafty and I'm a killer. But he doesn't like the name and he doesn't feel like it fits him, and he's been thinking about pulling the trigger on a name change. My advice to him has been, that's absolutely up to you. If you feel like that name doesn't fit you, then change it. But whatever name you change it to, get the Twitter, the same Twitter name, get the same Twitch name, whatever social media you're going to use. If you're big on Reddit, you get the same Reddit name, whatever you use. Now, me, I would just say make sure you get the same YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, because those are the three I use. When I first started streaming, when I first started doing this, I had someone who was a very small streamer, but to me was experienced. And she told me, nah, it doesn't matter. You can have all different names. It won't matter.
No, I'm sorry. I touched on this. I said specifically, try to make sure that when you establish your brand, you are consistent across all platforms. You can't have a brand unless... pointing. Where are you pointing?
To you. I'm saying yes. Listen to what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
Yes, listen to him.
But no, when you establish your brand, you want to be consistent across all platforms. It makes it so much easier. Like when you guys saw the URLs that I posted at the end of the presentation, we have the community URLs. Well, the community URLs are real easy because no matter which platform you're going to, it's just PFTM community. Well, certainly that's, some letters and whatnot. The point being is that it's consistent. And I myself, I am CoyoteWildfire with the exception of battle.net. But the point being, by and large, it's CoyoteWildfire. If you want to find me on Google, it's CoyoteWildfire. Keep that consistent because then it's real easy, especially if you have the same profile picture, to find the person that you're looking for if you want to follow them.
Yeah. I wish I had pulled the trigger, a year and a half ago and just really started switching everything over to Dose Rev. I held out hope for over a year that I would be able to get Rev on Twitch. And Twitch isn't going to do it. They're not going to release the names. And the only reason I held out that long is because they're like, oh, we're going to be releasing a bunch of old unused names. And I've been trying to get Rev on Twitch for years. When I was just a viewer, I wanted Rev. But...
It didn't pan out, and honestly, there's still other ways that you can make that name your own if you decide to add some numbers in it, or if you decide to add a second word, if you really want to change it. I mean, it's up to Mr. Crafty Killer, like you said, whether or not you want to make that change. But if you do, all that I recommend is just try to be as consistent as possible. You can do a lot of checking to see if a name is available on certain social media, and if it is, then take that name if you can get it consistent across all the platforms.
Mo Guy brings up a great point. He couldn't get that Mo Guy, so he ended Mo Guy, and he added TV to the end. But that's fine. I think that makes a lot of sense. And that was actually one of the suggestions that I got was, well, just if you can't get Dose Rev, just use Dose Rev TV. I think I'm in an okay place right now. I might look into that in the future for my Twitter handle. If you go to Twitter and you type in Dose Rev, I pop up, and then it's my Twitter handle is actually @Rev, but you can figure it out. Another thing that I did very recently is I commissioned 3 different artists to come up with copyrighted new logo for myself. And Bebach, I know you know Bebach, member of our communities, was actually
lovely gal.
Came up with the best design. So now I'm using that, and I'm using that everywhere. I use it on Steam, on Twitter, on Discord, on Twitch, etc. And
I love the new design, by the way. I really do. Out of the 3 picks, that was definitely my favorite. And she's great. She's done work for Debach as well with regards to some of the emotes. I think all of the emotes, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Debach has also done all of the artwork for AJ's channel, and she's currently in the middle of designing new emojis for Darth Bex. Yeah,
nice,
she is a
nice.
hell of an artist.
She's a great asset to have in the community.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that kind of brings up everything I wanted to talk about with the presentation. I thought it was great. If there's anyone wants to ask about or talk about in chat, please feel free to jump in there. I gotta say this. I'll bring up another point, dude. So you've mentioned how I've been crushing it lately, blah 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 blah, whatever. I'm going to be a partner on Twitch. That will happen.
Yeah,
that will happen.
Oh yes, it will.
I mean, my concurrent viewer numbers are still only a third of what they need to be, but I'm growing. I've had consistent growth. I plan on doing it, and anyone who's with me, I'm bringing you motherfuckers with me. I'm dragging you with me. Like, people don't realize, community is so important. You can't do this alone. You were talking about communities, and it's like, I live in an area with a lot of Mennonites, and if you know Amish barn raising it's the entire community gets together and raises up an entire barn for one person in a day. And then that guy spends the rest of the year doing the same thing for anyone else in the community that needs it. Because there's no way one Amish dude can build a barn, Not
in a day, that's for sure.
We are in this together, fam.
Absolutely. I can't stress enough how amazingly enriching it's been for me as a streamer, but also as an individual, as a person, when I came aboard Proper Nerds and started networking or building my own channel where I was taking off on my own, and the amount of community, the group of people who have come along, it's staggering to me the way that not just my channel and not just the channels of those who have been around me. Ooh, Dalia with 100 biddies. Thank you, Dalia. But having those individuals around us, working with us, we all are in this together. We've got that many more people that we can celebrate, work together with, collaborate, and we all get to grow as a group.
Yeah. Listen, and you might go, well, but Dr. Disrespect isn't part of a team, or Kriparian, or Ninja, or there's so, well, okay, but you want to know something? Those big streamers, they are everyone talks about, the 1%. They are less than the 1,000th of a 1% on Twitch. You have to understand how many hundreds of thousands of people are streaming on Twitch. You're not gonna be Dr. Disrespect. You're not.
And I wouldn't want to be personally myself. I think it's great to aim high and to have goals and aspirations. But there's definitely some luck and some other matters. There's some other factors that work into celebrity level popularity like that. But I see.
You know, the other thing is people don't realize Dr. Disrespect had years of experience doing that before he ever stepped foot onto Twitch. Kripparrian had years of experience making YouTube videos for people to watch before he ever stepped foot on Twitch. Disguised Toast, another big streamer that I love, he had years of streaming on Twitch before a random blunder that he did on stream went viral and he took off. Like, people don't realize these big streamers, they didn't start from nothing, you know? And what having a community does is it gives you that footing. It gives you that base. Use it.
And plus, you had mentioned this a while ago in a conversation that you and I had just had casually, was that, you know, as you get older in your established adulthood, making friends can sometimes be very difficult. Like, you got the friends that you had from high school, you got the friends from childhood, and which ones of those happen to stick with you for this long? Hey, great, you kept a bunch of friends. But you don't end up making real lifelong friendships that way, you know, from the groups of people that you come into acquaintance with during your adulthood. Usually you have your established responsibilities by that point in time in your own lives to lead. And what I've been able to do is make some really incredible, really remarkable friendships, both with people in the communities, as well as people I've gotten to network with as streamers, as well as my own viewership are some of the coolest people that I have gotten to meet. And no different here. The people that are here, some of the coolest people that I have gotten to meet, every one of you guys in chat, are exactly why we do what we do. And we love that fact.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to answer your question in 1 second, Red Rum. Yeah. I always tell people the reason I started doing this is because for me as a child, video games were always a social experience. My parents didn't allow me to sit in my bedroom by myself playing video games. Video games were something I played either with my siblings or when my friends came over. I wasn't allowed to sit on what my dad called the Vidiot box and play video games.
What a name.
It was the video games were a socializing experience. So
for sure,
I spent so many years playing MMOs because of the social aspect. And when I quit MMOs, video games felt empty to me. And that's what Twitch gives me, is it gives me that social experience back. Now, I'm going to go right into Red Rum's question because we are starting to get short on time. He wants to know, as a late night streamer, is it hurting him as a streamer? The main reason he streams at those times is because the kids are in bed and he's nocturnal. No. Coyote touched on this during his presentation. You need to make your streaming work for you and your life. Don't worry about what time you're streaming. You stream what time is best for you. Loina, recently, I had to tell him, dude, stop trying to stream around other people. No matter what game you're playing, no matter what time you're playing it, there's someone else on Twitch streaming it. So it's insane to try to time your streams to other people. Do what works for you. Now, if you feel like you're not getting viewers that late at night, do this. If you normally stream for 8 hours, cut it down to 6. And take those first 2 hours to go out and network. If you're playing Fortnite, go hang out in 2 or 3 Fortnite streams for 2 hours and talk to those people. Get to know them a little bit. Don't even tell them that you're a streamer. Don't even tell them. Just give them a follow, talk to them to be interesting. That's it. And you'll be amazed. You will be amazed. People will just start hosting you and people will start watching you.
Something that I didn't touch on, but I think is very true. I didn't touch on this in the presentation, but I think you and I have discussed this before. In the event that you only have 1 hour, maybe, to stream, or hour and a half tops, you know, don't stream. Yeah. Instead, use that time to either network, community build, engage people that are following you already. Like, if you have 1 or 2 regular viewers, take a look at who else they're watching. Go hang out with them in somebody else's chat. It's an interesting scenario when you are also a fellow viewer in a stream where one of your viewers is hanging out, and then you get to build more relationship with them, expose yourself to that streamer's chat. Networking is so key. And if you're talking about streaming late at night, I have to second what Rev says. Make it work for you. Absolutely. If you the only time that you can stream is late at night, I would suggest that the what you would want to change is not the fact that you're streaming late at night, but perhaps either A, how much you're networking, or maybe it's the game that you're streaming. I touched on this before. Unless you're in the upper echelons of Overwatch, like the upper echelons of competitive play, you're not relevant on Twitch. There's a huge saturation right now of streamers who are streaming Overwatch. And unless you're in that top bracket, you're not relevant. So try something different. Try changing up the mode.
And there's a bunch of games like that, unfortunately. PUBG, Hearthstone, Fortnite, what are some of the other ones? Ark. It can be really hard to be noticed playing these really, really... right now, Far Cry 5. It can be really hard to be noticed when someone would have to scroll down 10 pages to get to you. Maybe look at some of your old favorites. Maybe dust off Final Fantasy VII. Maybe dust off, whatever game you like. I'm sure there's a game you played 5 years ago. Dude, do you want to know what I got amazing viewer numbers on? When I played Red Alert 2.
Yeah, you had solid viewers for that. That was awesome.
Crazy numbers. You know why? No one was playing it. No one was streaming Red Alert 2. And every time I went live playing Red Alert 2, my numbers were jumping up into the 30s and 40s. And I was used to like 12, 14 at the time.
Yeah, no, for sure. And remember that picture that I posted of where I was getting sources from? I was talking about people who had rated me and thanking them for it. But there was one other thing that one bit of information, I don't know if anybody picked up on it. The second most popular source of views was from the browse page, meaning that the games that I was streaming, I was high enough on the list because the competition wasn't so fierce. There weren't so many people who were streaming it, which is why establishing your niche is so important. Finding out what you do best and focusing on that and utilizing that, that'll get the people, new people, new followers, new viewers just from the browse page naturally.
Yeah, good boy. Yeah, I'm staying hydrated. Yeah, but again, the thing to keep in mind with all of that, with everything we just said, rule number one, my rule number one, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. And the flip side of that is if you're having fun, then fuck it. Don't worry about anything else. If you're having fun, then don't worry about anything else. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're having fun, you're not going to be as concerned about, oh, well, I had low viewership tonight. I mean, sure, we all want to have good viewership. And the point of tonight was to try to help you attain that. But, I mean, everybody is going to gravitate to a fun, active, and engaged streamer. People pick up on it when you are having fun, and they will gravitate to that. It's infectious. That's just the way humanity works, and it's one of the beauties of the human condition, in my opinion.
Yes. I know, Fox for Fox, I've got a lot of requests for me to play XCOM 2. I could make that my game, not this coming month, because I've already got this coming month picked out. A month after, but someone's got to get it for me, because I don't have the money for it. For those of you who don't know, my transmission died on my car like a month and a half ago, and I don't have the $3,000 or whatever to fix it. So, yeah, everything I've been making, I've been trying to set aside and save for that. Transmissions are expensive, fam.
They are. What was I saying about setting goals and talking about those goals and taking ownership?
The thing is right now my push is more for getting consistent subscribers. Right now you can say I think I'm sitting at like 32 subs. I want to try to get every single month, my number one priority, every single month my priority is to get 50 subscribers or resubscribers or more every month. And then my next priority beyond that is I need to get my concurrent viewer numbers up. I got to get to 75 concurrent, fam. That's where we need to be to get partnership.
Pat the partner, my friends. Come on, let's get it going.
I don't talk about that a lot because, I mean, my concurrent is currently around like 24. So I've still got 2/3 of the way to go, but that's where we're headed.
I mean, the point is that you're growing. There's a marked increase, and the trend is working in your favor. So pardon me, if you keep doing what you're doing, then yeah, absolutely, you're going to get yourself up there.
Yeah. Well, Coyote, listen, you know me. I like to keep this to an hour. I could talk to you for 5 hours at a time, but I did want to have this as sort of a wrap up to your amazing, amazing thing. Make sure you get that up on YouTube. And I know everyone here is already following this guy, but if you're not, twitch.tv/CoyoteWildfire. He's a member of my community, the Proper Nerds. He's the founder of one of my other communities, Prepare for the Mediocre. And just all around, one of my absolute favorite people in the real world. I'm going to leave on this note before we end. Coyote came to me a couple months ago and goes, you know, I think I'd like to be a featured streamer in the Proper Nerds. And Lassane and I were head over heels. We loved Coyote. We're like, yes, let's do it. But then we're like, but what is this PTFM thing? And we started looking into it. And we're like, he's got his own community and it looks a lot like ours. Well, I mean, you know, not looks, you know what I mean? It's doing the same kind of thing. So we called him in and we had a chat. It was you, me, Lassane, Knox, and Loina, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it.
And we asked you a bunch of questions, and what we came down to is like, dude, we would love to have you, but we think it would be a mistake. We don't think you should do this. We think you should focus on PTFM. You've got an amazing community there. Keep working on that. And oh my God, am I so glad. Like, as much as I'd love to have you as a featured streamer in Proper Nerds, like, it's worked out so much better. You've been working on this community for years. It's so nice just to have a sister community like PTFM. I love you, brother.
I appreciate that so very much, Rev. I think in the end, what it ended up enabling us to do is to serve more people as two side-by-side, hand-in-hand communities. You know, we've been able to utilize PFTM in a way that I wouldn't have been able to, and we've been able to grow and help other small streamers and build a community and overall reach out into the lives of more people, I feel, than if I had been brought onto the Proper Nerds.
All right. Well, listen, we still got some more questions, and don't be afraid to join the Discord and ask them in the hashtag DoseRev channel. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I didn't get to. You know me, if I'm awake, I'm either with the wife or I'm doing stream stuff. So Discord away, my friends. And we are going to end the stream the same way we always do, which is we're going to do a thing, and then we're going to host into someone, go over and say hello and show some love to whoever we host into, and then we're going to say goodnight. Okay? All right. Coyote, you are old hat. Oh, one last thing. Next Monday is the next Palaver. You will want to be here next Monday. I'm talking to the one, the only, my stream daughter, a little shaky. So make sure you're here on Monday for that, because it's going to be awesome. Coyote, you know how we end. Last word, my friend, goes to you.
All right, guys. So as you're already aware, Rev has been really pushing towards partner. Now, I talked about this. This is beneficial to no matter what streamer that you use. I would encourage you guys, whether you're a viewer or you want to be a streamer yourself, please consider leaving a lurk for us. Leave that tab open and leave the sound on. You know, if you're going to be working away in the yard or going to be gone all day, please consider leaving a tab open for us. It does help us with our viewership. Just let us know, hey, I'm leaving you a lurk, and it would be a tremendous asset to us. Thank you guys ever so much. A big, big shout out to DoseRev and Little Shiki for helping out with the presentation and managing the chat. I know Gareth on my phone was also assisting as best as he could in the early portions, but it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. Thank you ever so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week.
All right, go show some love to our host. Bye-bye, everyone.
Rev is logging out of the system. Please stand by for a raid on another Twitch streamer. Establishing connection now. Please hold.
I like it. I like it.